What's going on, guys? I'm back with another 31 Days of Halloween review, and today we're going to be doing what's now become a classic horror Halloween film, Saw. And if I sound nasally, I apologize. Seasons are changing in Massachusetts, so I'm all junked up on allergies, but let's get into it. Photographer Adam Stanheidt and oncologist Lawrence Gordon regain consciousness while being chained to pipes at either end of a filthy bathroom. As the two men realize they've been trapped by a sadistic serial killer named Jigsaw and must complete his twisted puzzle to live, flashbacks relate their fates to his previous victims. Meanwhile, Dr. Gordon's wife and young daughter are forced to watch his torture via closed-circuit video. Now, Saw can definitely feel like a bit of a mixed bag, but let me kick this review off with the positives, starting off with the technical aspects of the film. They may not pop off the page due to its cheap feel, but I personally feel that's what makes Saw, Saw. It has that dirty and grainy camera quality, the tattered costumes, the filthy and grungy production design, and everything else in between really brought this film to life and gave it a lot of personality. Then, when you couple that with the sometimes dull, then sometimes bright color palette, with these yellows, grays, blues, greens, and sharp pastel whites, it really helped enhance that mood of each scene, really capturing that nasty look and feel to it. If you guys can hear that fire engine, I apologize, that's life in the city. But anyways, when it comes to James Wan's direction, what he went for mostly paid off. He had some good handheld shots to almost help boost that nasty feel, almost making you feel like you were there. Then switching it to steady shots for different situations, and overall, just incorporating different angles to certain shots to let the audience's imagination run wild, leaving things up for interpretation. Once the title screen fades and introduces us to our two mostly main characters, you're almost automatically on board with what's going on, feeling like you're on their team to find out what's going on and how they got there. The storytelling approach is pretty fresh, keeping things from being formulaic, where it's told by a series of flashbacks, then rotating back to the present day. If it was told step for step from the beginning, it wouldn't have the audience as invested from the start, because it wouldn't be as hard-hitting, nor draw so many questions out of the gate, so definitely fair play when it comes to that. As the film plays on, all the bits get pieced together fairly well, coming full circle with a pretty clever twist that'll almost blow you out of your chair if you've never seen the film before. Now, everyone knows the Saw films are pretty much well known for their traps, getting labeled as torture porn, and for good reason. But what this film does that sets it apart from the rest, it plays into the psychological edge from the characters, coupled with some pretty gruesome images as well, where it's the best of both worlds. It doesn't allow for things to get too saturated or sensitized by the end, making it the best of the franchise for my money anyways. When it comes to the characters, they're fine. They serve their purpose and help facilitate the plot, but the main catch is definitely Tobin Bell as Jigsaw, although there was a lot to be left to desire with this character. A positive and a negative of the film is the fact that it acts as a start to the series to come, but also builds a lot of tension and questions about Jigsaw, just giving you a taste of what the character is. In this film, he isn't portrayed as a psychopath like, say, Michael Myers per se. He isn't really a bad guy doing bad things to people, but more so just a bit of an oddball doing bad things to bad people, where it adds substance to him and the killings themselves. It differs from the other films because it leaves that moment of judgment to yourself where you're like, okay, is what he's doing to these type of people really that bad? I mean, surely, what the traps are really bad, but do these people deserve it? Then there's that gray area of him not technically doing the killings essentially, so it's a bit of a mixed one. Although this film is pretty enjoyable for horror enthusiasts like myself, there's still plenty wrong with it, starting with the plot holes and plot issues. It's hard to really get into it without spoiling it, but what I will say, there are just some bits where you're left saying, huh? They could have just done this, or that doesn't really make much sense because of this. Another issue I have is with the story. It is a fairly original idea, so it gets more points added than taken away, but the way it's structured makes the pacing a little wonky because it's told through so many flashbacks. Another issue I had was with the characters. Again, they were fine fulfilling their roles, although everyone had moments of overcooking their performances, but they all weren't that interesting, nor too investing, where I found myself not caring enough to be bothered if someone got topped. So when they spent all this time on certain backstories, I found myself getting a tad bored at times. And the last issue I had, other than some nitpicks, was some of the editing choices. I understand this film was made on $1 million budget or so, which is fairly low, but the super sped up and slowed down shots became pretty distracting on top of the scene transitions. Overall, Saw does its job for the most part. It shines in most aspects, but definitely crumbles in others, but at the end of the day, it's one of the better, unsettling Halloween films you can watch during the season. It gets a 6 out of 10 for me. Let me know what you think of Saw in the comments below, and let me know what film you'd like to see me review next. See you guys on the next one.